Oh, we are so ready to get this started, Rachel. Doe and Monty here. Korea versus Finland. This is one we've been looking forward to for a long time. And neither of these teams really having a whole lot of trouble with the other nations in their group. But this one could be the first real test for Korea we've seen.
Of course, when we came into the Overwatch World Cup, this is the match that we really wanted to see. It's going to be fun to cast it. Yeah. I've been really interested in Finland running a lot of 4 tank compositions, so we do see some different strategies coming into play here in this match. So are we going to see the Symmetra? Are we going to see the Torbjorn again? You said yes.
I think we probably are, because I think that Korea is going to run it until it stops working. And it still worked yesterday against Chinese Taipei. So as we check out our maps, Temple of Anubis, Eichenwald, and Lijiang Tower, if we get there, I would not be surprised at all to see that Symmetra Torbjorn once we make it to our second map of the match. But for now, let's go to Temple of Anubis. Tyrong still insists to me, even to this morning, he still insists it's a valid strat. So we'll see. I think Finland's got a lot of good tools though to use against South Korea. I mean, obviously, Taimu's been looking great too. But I want to talk about Zenny as well. His Roadhog has looked, or Himsy, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
His Roadhog has looked so good this week.
Yeah, and Taimu may be going on that Widowmaker. We've seen great Widowmaker games out of him. He went 50-2 on Temple of Anubis on Reaper yesterday. So he's been doing extremely well himself. And yesterday we saw Korea run Arhan here on defense on the first point, just mixing up his locations on that Bastion, was very successful in doing so. And it looks like we're going to see that same composition. So yesterday we did see a wall boost, an ice wall boost to get Arhan into position.
Oh, I like Korea's plan, where it's like they just kind of shrug and go, well, this is our strategy. We're just going to use it until somebody can beat it. And Arhan did do great on that Bastion, moving around after every fight so that the opponent really had no idea where he was going to be. And so we're probably going to see Eska boost him up there with the Mei Wall a little bit. Arhan, though, the thing is I wouldn't be surprised if they started in a different location just to kind of...
Yep.
Yeah, they are. Yep.
So he was on the ledge right there. The last time they tried this strategy on the edge of the shot, but this is going to give him protection from Roadhog hooks, and Arhan has shown that he will mix up his positioning. He will go deep in the point, he will go to the opposite side of the bridge here, and they have laid some very tricky traps.
Well, this is smart, because Finland might come around the corner expecting the Bastion to be there, and they're going to pull in a Muro on that Winston if Himsy lands the hook.
And they also know that Taimu likes to run Widowmaker. He's not in any sight lines right now where he could be taken out. So see how far back South Korea wants to play this. The answer is very far back. They are ready for the Widow, Doa.
Oh, yeah. And if he jumps up there, obviously Miro's going to hop right onto that platform. So Taimu's just going to walk forward here. See if we can do it. There's a grab onto Miro. Gets the Zarya shield immediately, and he's going to go up to the high ground to stay safe. It is so hard to kill him on that Winston. Taimu jumps up, though, using advantage of that cooldown, but it's over now. It's a quick one, and Taimu goes down already.
Doa, they put the Winston where the Bastion was yesterday, and they played the sight line. So Finland thought he'd be in the same place. You see Himsy take the corner, take the hook, pulls the Winston in when Zarya still has the projected barrier, and instead Winston jumps up to where Taimu has taken him out. That is such a good, inventive strategy from South Korea. But you could tell that Finland had researched their opponent too.
Yeah, that's right. But it's kind of like well, we know you know this, so we're going to do this because you think this.
Yep.
The mind games
coming in already.
There was
some serious mind games from both of these teams' strategies that we've seen on Anubis so far here at the Overwatch World Cup.
Well, Miro has to pop the Primal Rage, gets slept immediately. Now, Taimu did go down a little bit earlier to a right click from Eska. Meanwhile, Himsy grabs the kill onto Zumba here, so maybe Finland, I don't think they're going to be able to push any advantage here. They just couldn't get enough. Zumba's going to have time to walk back, and Eska so accurate with those right clicks that they're really not giving Finland much of an opportunity to walk in here.
Yeah, but Himsy getting to get into the point. You see the Bastion has set up the back of the point.
Oh,
and
nice
Eska getting a grab, but there's the ice block.
Yep, going to stay alive for the moment, but I don't think it's going to last too long. Miro coming down to try to save the Mei. Let's see if it works. No, Miro goes down right away. Finland drops a Graviton Surge, but it's Eska and Arhan getting the kills. South Korea finding the win in that fight anyway.
The freeze just lasted long enough to outlast the barrier, Doa, the sound barrier. And yeah, that's not getting the full blast from the shotgun. Arhan is going to pop the configuration tank and rocket jump his way and get slept.
Oops, yeah, that's oh no, Arhan, no!
Well, that was an overextension
That was
from
a bit cocky,
right
maybe.
there.
Yeah, I think we're going to see him swap over to maybe the Genji or something like that now. I'd be surprised if he stuck with the Bastion right after he loses up. Yep, there's the Tracer. So swapping to another DPS as South Korea gets a bit more serious on the defense here. Jaehong drops a Nana boost. Eska with that sound barrier coming in, and they are going to force Finland right out immediately. That did not take long. Meanwhile, Taimu trying to make something happen on the Reaper, but he eventually gets taken out by Jaehong himself. South Korea just seems unassailable at this point.
Taimu was trying to come in, had his Death Blossom up, but he didn't expect Ana to be standing there. So as soon as he popped around the corner, the Sleep Dart came in, and the rest of Korea just ran past and focus fired the rest of his team.
The coordination from these guys is just insane. I mean, we know as this fight begins that right after their match yesterday, they immediately went back and started practicing again. These guys are so hardcore about it. And it's paying off. There's the Maywall going to throw the Blizzard in there as well. They've got
everybody trapped in the room.
Oh, man. That is not a market stall you want to spend too much time in, because the only thing you'll buy is death. Or be given, I suppose. You don't need to pay anything for it.
Yeah, you're definitely not paying anything for it, though. You'll be force-fed death.
Well, that's right.
Not
forcefully given death.
It will be forced upon you.
That's right. You'll have death thrown at you in the form of apes and white-hot lightning.
Right now, Doa, 2 ults up, so they do have a Beyblade available for them, but there's just so much that Korea has, and there we go.
Graviton Surge immediately. They dive in. 3 members of Finland already down, and it's looking pretty rough. Mafu still alive for the moment, but he's going to get taken out. 9 seconds now, and South Korea can't do a whole lot. Himsy finally just walking onto the point to try to get something happening with the back door, but that's going to be about it, I believe. Yeah, South Korea with an easy full hold on point A. Wow. I did not expect it to be quite that one-sided, but strategically, they were so ready for Finland.
I mean,
amazing
We're
stuff.
taking a look at this replay here where everybody getting caught on the stairs, trying to get past that point, but the freeze lasted longer than the sound barrier, and that meant they were able just to wait it out and then chip them down.
Well, just the beginning of this match, you know, having Miro up there on the Winston, knowing that Himsy's going to come in with the blind hook and then pull in that Winston.
So it was such a great bait. So they fell back like they were playing around the same point the Bastion was there yesterday. So Finland obviously said, okay, well, we're going to just come around, grab the Bastion off. Bastion wasn't there. And in fact, the only thing they accomplished was getting Miro, Zarya shielded, and then get him closer to actually jumping up and killing Taimu's Widowmaker. So what a great read from Korea here. Finland thought they had a grasp on the situation, but it wasn't actually the same strategy. It merely appeared to be, and they couldn't get anything rolling after that. So 1 point will be all that South Korea has to take in order to take map number 1.
Yeah, and there's a lot of match left to go, presumably, but quite a statement by South Korea early on. Finland will have to pull out quite the epic defense to hold this one, because Temple of Anubis, this is one of those maps where you just don't plan on holding point A through the whole thing. If you manage to get a full hold, usually in like a competitive game, it's just kind of a bonus, right? You kind of assume that you're going to have to fall back to point B eventually, but Finland can't allow that to happen.
Well, we are going to see Taimu go on to one of his best heroes, McCree, and Himsy looking to get those hooks so they can grab some early picks here. Korea going to be going with a pretty deep diving composition, the classic dive trio of Tracer, Winston, and Genji.
Yeah. Now, we were talking to Reinforce earlier, too, and he thought that stylistically South Korea was a really good matchup against Finland, because Finland likes to play more of a static kind of defense as we see them all on that platform, whereas Korea goes for the dive. So he was thinking that Finland would just kind of get overrun, and we'll see if that happens as South Korea gets ready to go here.
It's going to take some damage immediately right there. They dropped the biotic grenade awful early. Nero looking for an angle. Arhan is
already there.
Sitting up top, taking a look, and here we go, right onto the McCree.
Now there's the distraction, dodges the charge as it comes in. He knew it was there. Himsy gets the hook. Taimu picks off Arhan, so good start for Finland already, but Miro just getting a ton of damage. But in the end, it's Taimu that carries Finland to a good defense.
Yeah, Taimu with a triple kill right there. They couldn't get the initial pick off onto him.
Whoa.
Oh, and Jaehong still doing some work here on the side, but he's got to go down. Taimu eventually picks up another, so we will get a reset. Finland manages to hold.
That was a close call and a bit of a split spawn for Korea now.
Yeah, and the thing about diving into the back line is if you have a good McCree who can fall back and keep his distance, there's not a lot of threat. You have a Roadhog. If you can hold that front line, McCree and Roadhog can fall back. Anybody who gets into the back, you can hook and then or flashbang and then burst down. They don't have a Reaper right now to actually take care of that Roadhog in a very meaningful way, but they're going to try again onto the point.
Yep, just trying to overrun Finland. Yet again, Aran gets in there, lives a little bit longer. Zumba gets a kill onto Zappis with the Ana all the way. No Nano boost coming in. Aran looking for another opportunity. He's almost got that Dragon Blade. Kills on both sides, and I think South Korea may need to back off here. No, actually, they're getting onto the point. There's the Dragon Blade and the Nano boost. Linkzer goes down. Aran just cutting Finland to shreds, and it looks like this may be a point A take. Oh no, a little bit too late. That reflected not last long enough. Taimu gets one, but he's still pushed away from the point, and South Korea's taking it. This is it. If Finland can't get on there right now, Mafu's doing what he can. There's a Graviton Surge. Taimu firing away, gets one, looking for Tyrong, picks him up, and Finland may have just barely held here. Miro, though, coming back in on the Winston, and it's already a close affair here on point A. Contested as Korea tries to finish it off. Miro goes down, and it looks like Finland's going to hold for the moment.
Holy cow, Taimu on that push. He was the absolute hero that Finland needed, landing all of his shots right there. He comes in, and a bit of a misplay. You saw Arhan go up, but he couldn't stop Taimu from getting the kill. Yeah. Also got the kill onto Miro, so the Deadeye doing its job. But then he comes in and lands every headshot in order to allow his team to have that time to retake the point. So Korea floundering now and only a minute and a half left.
Yeah, that's right. Trying to get the Reinhardt shield to turn. There's the Graviton Surge. Where's the combo? There's the reflect from Arhan as he tries to stay alive, but kills coming in from Finland already. Pretty good defense from these guys right off the bat. South Korea, though, only needs that one tick, but they're not going to get it this time.
It would be crazy, Doa, if both of these teams could full hold right here.
Yeah.
Ryu Jae Hong up in the top side, but he's not dead yet, and he's going to get picked off, and now they have a minute. He's the last one to go down, so really 50 seconds or so when he's going to come up, and they can push forward again, but they're already going in. Zunba.
He was still there from that last push, and with that split spawn,
it's one attack left. It's one attack left. Now they do have the Nano Boost and the Dragon Blade, but a sound barrier should be able to deal with that from Finland. So Finland looking strong here for the final push from Korea.
Well, they've certainly got the ult advantage. I think if you can fault Korea for anything right now, it's not, kind of full wiping when they know things are going badly. They just kind of let people hang around, and they're getting split spawn pretty badly. Arhan, though, has that Dragon Blade going in with the Nano Boost. Looks for something. The Deadeye was activated. Needs to be careful here. Has to dodge a Reinhardt. And that sound barrier doing everything Finland needs as Taimu just rips apart South Korea. And it looks like it's probably going to be a hold from Finland, although Jaehong gets a kill. Maybe South Korea's got a chance here. Miro with that Primal Rage trying to keep people off of there. Tyrong on the point. They get the sound barrier in. They might yet be able to do it. Miro gets slept, though. He might be down. Solo gets taken out by the Pulse Bomb from Himsy. Aran, though, with the kill onto Zappis are not done yet. Jaehong, actually, they take him out, and they're getting it in overtime, maybe. Zumba on the Diva now. Just one Winston standing between Finland.
Oh my.
And they actually managed to get it. Wow.
Zumba
insane.
On the Diva swap at the very end, manages to make it there in the nick of time, and they clean up Finland on the point, but that was so close and nearly carried really on Taimu's heroics right there. Impressive game. And that's going to be 1-0 up to South Korea, but things were looking a lot more even towards the end of that first point on Anubis.
Oh, they really were. I mean, you got to credit Finland for being able to stay in it, stay scrappy like that. And they just really kind of brawled their way to a near tie.
Wow, really impressive.
Good stuff from the series so far. I'm excited, man. This one's going to be a good one. And because it was that close, you really got to wonder if they're going to try the Symmetra Torbjorn on Eichenwald.
Yeah, they got pushed to the limit. But if it is indeed a legit strategy, although
I think they will. I still think they will.
You think they will? I think they will not. I think they will not do
All right, place your bets. Doe thinks they will. Monty thinks they won't.
I think that they will. Based on the research that we've already seen, Finland should be ready for that. I don't know how many different ways they can place a lot of those turrets. It was pretty simple, honestly, when we saw it placed. They would place the four Symmetra turrets along the arch. That's a pretty readable strategy. So I don't know. I think we're going to see a bit of a mix-up here from South Korea, but
yeah, I don't think so. I think they're going to try it until it gets beat. I think they know that they're through to the next round anyway. I think they're going to give it a shot. Let's take a look at the head-to-head between Eska and Taimu. Eska coming out a little bit ahead stats-wise overall, but again, looking at that last match, Taimu was really the player that kept Finland in the game. Without his heroics, they would have been overrun a lot faster. So yeah, the stats look good for Eska, but Taimu really a threat to South Korea right now.
Well, also very close when it comes to damage done. Not only that, but it was the clutch plays from Taimu coming through to get back into the point, to recapture when it all looked like it was over, and push it into that overtime. So we are going to Eichenwald next.
That's right.
Monte Carlo.
Monte Carlo, wow.
Wow. I'm a small nation in Europe now, Doa. I didn't know that.
Congratulations. I'm still GG Doa, but we're seeing the evolution of Monte Cristo.
Would you like to gamble it? Would you like to gamble it, me, Doa?
Sure.
It's legal there.
Can you? Will the odds be ever in my favor?
They will.
Monte Carlo?
They will.
It's good to know. A little bit disturbing, but good to know. Well, Monte Carlo, as we move on to Eichenwald here. South Korea, and they're doing it. They're sort of doing it. They're not doing the Torbjorn. Arn is playing the Bastion rather than Torbjorn, but they are running the Symmetra. So I think we're both right.
In a way,
we got the Symmetra,
win,
not the Torbjorn. I think we both win here.
All right,
let's declare ourselves both victors. Good, go us. We did a great job.
All right, well, the Symmetra is going to be coming through, and Arhan, just so you guys know, Arhan does play a lot of Bastion. He likes to play Bastion on control point as well. We've seen him bust it out in previous tournaments on maps like Nepal, so this is not unusual.
Yeah. Korea certainly, if you watch the Apex League that you and I cast back in South Korea, I feel like we've seen a little bit more Bastion there recently than in other regions. So this isn't as weird as it may seem for a South Korean team to be running Bastion so much. Now the Symmetra, that's something completely different, but we'll see if it works. Finland coming in. Lynx are taking a little bit of damage, gets sealed up. Himsy's got to be careful, though. Takes a big spray from Aran on that Bastion.
Now they know the Bastion's there. They didn't get picked off, so they can start to respond to it. There is no Genji, and there isn't really a great long-range damage as long as that Reinhardt shield is there. Now they're going to try and creep around and get into the point.
I think Aran's got to move here. Himsy trying to come around to the side. They need to make something happen. Miro running in on that Reinhardt. Does play it quite a bit. Blocks the hook with the shield, and Himsy going up to the high ground now. Has to escape as Tyrong and Eska pick up some kills. Already the Symmetra drawing blood for South Korea. I love it. Man, they're moving way up there.
Yeah, just protecting Miro while he's sleeping, making sure he's not going to get picked off. Arhan already at 90% here on the Bastion ultimate, so putting down a lot of the initial damage.
Yeah.
Zappis does have the nano boost, but so does Jae-Hong, and that nano boosted Bastion can be a real bear to deal with. Wow, look at the shield positioning right there. Just barely covering the Bastion.
See, that's the thing is when you have these, when you have the Reinhardt shield and you have the little Symmetra shield, it's actually hard to poke away at that Bastion because he's going to get a little bit of that damage back each time.
There we go.
Iran with the teleporter. There's a Graviton Surge onto Finland, and they are just going to destroy them with the Earth Shatter combo. Well, Arhan not even needing to use configuration tank on that Bastion either. That was brutal.
Oh, they've got it saved, though, and they did use the nano boost, but it's one tool left. He's going to go up. Then this is where usually where they've been putting the Torbjorn turret is on this staircase right here. So every push, Arhan moves, keeps them guessing.
Yep, you got to do it. This is, if you want like a guide on how to play Bastion correctly defensively, this is what you watch, man. Arhan is probably the best I've seen.
Okay. So they are going to push back in.
Look at that, doing so much damage already. He got Himsy, but he got hit with the sleep dart at the same time. Should be fine, though, as Finland moves on to the point. There's the Deadeye from Taimu. We'll see if we can get anything with it. He does take out Arhan, who is just outside of the range of that shield. Now Graviton Surge comes in. Taimu gets the sound barrier. And oh, he's got a field of South Korean players to just cap. And speaking of capping, they're going to cap the first point there. Well, Arhan's like, oh, I made a terrible mistake. Well, they're coming through.
Tyrong should swap here after everybody goes through. Nope, he's not. He's at 50% already.
Time for some revenge. Maybe not. Okay. Time to switch. All right. So Tyrong going down as well. They're going to switch off of that Symmetra. So they held for a while. It didn't work as well as we saw it work against other teams. But then again, those other teams weren't Finland.
Finland just ran around the left side. So the stair positioning for Arhan didn't actually work out. He couldn't get a line of sight. Was sleep darted immediately. And he got Himsy, but there was nobody actually from Korea defending on the point itself. And since they all got wiped at the same time, the teleporter wasn't particularly useful.
Ooh, Taimu finds a nice sneaky position to do some damage to Tyrong. Oh, but he will be taken out by the opposing McCree. Eska coming down right now, and here's where things get especially scary because Eska is a fantastic McCree player. Is anyone kind of on the level of Taimu? It certainly seems like Eska is close, at least.
Yeah, Arhan is going to be, he switched over to the Reaper, did manage to bite the dust at the start of that, but now Korea just going to start to reset on top of the high ground at the castle.
Oh, Finland in a pretty good position here. I heard a hook, but no kills. Deadeye for Eska. There's a Reinhardt shield. He's going to drop down anyway to chase him away from the payload. And that's going to allow his team to take advantage of this split up Finland, and they're going to start to grab kills with it. So Himsy trying to get the hook, can't quite land it, gets a whole hug, gets a Zarya shield actually, but doesn't stay alive long enough to really do too much with it. Deadeye now coming in from Taimu. He does take out Aran, but he gets on the receiving end of some darts from Jaehong, but I like that engage from South Korea. They used the Deadeye to cause Finland to scatter and then sent the team to take advantage of the various pockets of Finnish resistance, if you will.
The pockets of Finnish resistance,
I guess
okay.
so.
You sound like the Soviet Union, Noah, but in any case.
No, we saw them play, well, Russia earlier.
Zappis there did actually not have the best target on the Mafu for the nano boost, and now we're going to see them caught up by the Graviton Surge.
Miro comes in with a big charge, and man, Finland just absolutely wrecked by South Korea. Aran switching over now to that Reaper and doing work.
And they hold on to the ultimate too from the Ana, so they do have 4 ultimates, nearly 5 ready to go. So Finland will have a rough time pushing forward, even though they do have the sound barrier. See if we can get a big Reaper nano boost combination onto the backline. Arhan is skulking up on top behind the damaged Bastion.
Here we go. Coming in, has to avoid that hook, but he gets the Zarya shield to keep him safe. Oh, gets knocked down though. Zenny in the back as well, in a little bit of trouble. Eska still manages to pick up 2 with the Deadeye. Arhan on his own has to worry about that Reinhardt, but the rest of his team pushing Finland back again. So in the end, win for South Korea.
One right there at the end. But South Korea did have to commit 5 ultimates actually to that. So Finland now coming up on a big ult bank. They should be able to continue to push this. They don't have a lot of time, so a little bit more on charging there, and they should have an advantage that they can push through at least a little bit farther. But they've got a long way to go, all the way across the drawbridge right now and up around the corner.
In less than a minute, that seems like it's going to be pretty tough.
Yeah, and they have to commit too, because if they just sit here and they let South Korea recharge all their ults, it's going to be for naught.
Yeah. Oh, Aran about halfway to that ultimate. Finds a bit of damage on the Svenny, and then, yeah, he should probably back away. Whoa! They've hit it over the gap. Man, Tony Hawk would be proud of those Reinhardts. Meanwhile, Linkster tries to get to safety, but Zumba gets the kill with the right click. Finland losing 1. Jaehong manages to, well, Svenny actually taking out Jaehong. There's the Graviton Surge, though, on the payload as South Korea tries to clean it up. And it looks like they probably will. Himsy, though, with that whole hog, gets 1 onto Arhan before he finally goes down. Miro's still pretty healthy at the moment, but he's got to contest with the other Reinhardt. He's in trouble, charges out of the fight, leaves Zumba on his own. Mafu, though, getting 1, and it looks like Finland might be able to keep this pushing a little bit.
I mean, it's going to be overtime, though, Doa. It's 3 seconds left, and they're getting killed 1 by 1. It's a desperation moment for Finland.
Yep, that's right. Arhan over onto the Tracer. Now Eska picks up the kill on the Taimu, and there is the nano boost onto Miro as he takes names, takes out Tyrong. Well, Tyrong takes out himself, I guess, but it doesn't matter. South Korea holds on point B, so just 1 point for Finland here on Eichenwald. We'll see if South Korea can match or do better.
Finland tried to get inside the castle there on point 2. And we're taking a look at this replay right here. Wow, what? That is an unbelievable play. Fire Strike going through everybody. Shield drops right in time for the Earth Shatter.
They didn't even need the nano boost for that, actually.
Yeah, they did not. They did not. They already had Arhan set up with the Bastion shooting through. Same thing with Eska.
Yeah.
It was a massive wombo combo.
I mean, when you're doing those kinds of things, though, you decide in advance what you're going to commit to the play. They decided that they probably would need the nano boost, so they went for it. And I mean, they got the team fight wiped. So, you know, in the end, it worked out. So we will see if South Korea can push the payload a little bit farther here. No Symmetra from Finland. Oh well.
Yeah, that's probably not going to be something that we're seeing. Zunba most likely also not going to be sticking around onto the Widowmaker right now.
Are you ready to call the Symmetra a legit strat yet? I think it's about time.
Okay.
I think it's time.
The Torbjorn, no. I do think that they are a team with a player like Arhan that is very experienced with using Bastion, and it's hard to argue with the way that he plays Bastion that it's not great for holding control points. So I'll give the Bastion over. I'll give the Symmetra over, even though it wasn't the most effective. I think Finland did expose the weaknesses. That was a great flank that we saw to take that first point.
Yeah. So, Zumba on the Widowmaker for the moment before he swaps back over to the Zarya, undoubtedly.
Yeah, and Finland, they're going to be defending with a composition that they've been playing quite well this tournament. 3 tanks, and the Mei going very defensive, pick-oriented, and all about dividing the enemy with the Mei wall and then focusing them down with the Roadhog hook. So Zumba, of course, back on his favorite Zarya. And pretty standard here, Arhan on the Genji, Eska on the McCree.
Gets up to the high ground to try to take advantage. Get a little bit of shots onto Himzi, and they will. They're going to run in right away, try to take the left side. But Taimu with a nice right click onto Eska. Good start for Finland here. Taimu on his own a little bit in the hallway, but he's okay. And Finland going to just destroy South Korea in their first push.
The first wall wasn't good, Doa. That's why Korea just rushed in, but Taimu hit the headshot when it mattered, and that means that South Korea starts fighting a 6v5. They have to reset. Hook going to come in here, not going to bring anybody in, and we're waiting for the next Mei wall.
Looks like they're going to try to go around the right side, get up on this high ground now. Hanging out by the bridge for the moment, though. Miro coming into the shield, Arhan over on the Genji. Going to try to distract Himzi there as he gets the hook. Eska picks up the kill into Linkser, though. Zappis grabs one for himself. There's a reflect from Arhan. Backs away. He's nearly got that Dragon Blade up as well. Himzi a little bit on his own, but Mafu for Finland picking up some kills. Fairly even across the board, but in the end, Finland the one having to back away a little bit as Korea creeps closer and closer to that point.
Yeah, but they can't kill Himzi. That's the problem. He's been low a few times, takes a breather, and manages to stay alive, so they have to wait again. Arhan looking to get healed up, looking to get a nano boost so they can keep fighting. Actually, Miro has the nano boost right now, and Linkser gets one of his own.
And nano boost on both Reinhardts, but they're both using their shields, so not a huge benefit there, but they needed to block that whole hog from Himzi. Eska, though, gets knocked over. He's going to come back up, and Miro manages to pick up a kill. There's a Graviton Surge. The wall blocking them off, though. Dragon Blade from Arhan trying to make a difference. Takes on Zeni, looking for another one. Going in for Himzi, gets hooked. Still lives, though, and he's going to be okay as he takes on Mafu. Looking for more kills. South Korea ever closer to taking that point, and I think that may be it. They've got a good chance to start the payload rolling now.
Yeah, finally broke through. They committed the Reinhardt to stopping the Deadeye charge from Eska right there, and I didn't see how long it had been charging, and I don't know what percentage of Linkser's shield was remaining, but it may have been better just to let your shield shatter right there.
Maybe.
And not go ahead and use that big CC ability just to stop a Deadeye.
Yeah, it's hard to say. You know, maybe you just thought they weren't ready for it. Either way, South Korea now pushing ahead, waiting for the gate. And the thing is they don't need to really get the payload all that far. If they can get, you know, to the bridge, they'll win this map.
Yep.
Blizzard immediately, though, as Finland goes on the offense with the defense here. Himzi gets the kill onto Miro, and I think South Korea is going to have to back off and kind of bide their time here on point B.
But that's the only ult they had. That's the only thing Finland had to work with, and the payload is still moving. I think Korea's overcommitting to this a little bit. They should fall back and wait. They have a huge ultimate advantage right now. That actually allowed Zappis to charge up his nano boost, which he didn't have before.
Yeah.
But they're waiting for Arhan. They want to get some more poke off. Get that Dragon Blade ready.
Yeah. And Jaehong looking for that sleep dart. Don't know if he landed it. Don't think he did. Hook. Hook onto Arhan. They get the shield on him just in time, though. Arhan going in with that nano boost. Gets pushed back, though, by the whole hog, and there's a kill for Himzi. He has his own nano boost, and Finland's going to hold South Korea again. Unfortunately for Korea, they used the nano boost, so they're down ultimates now. There goes Miro. And Finland holding quite nicely so far on point B.
Yes, they are. But that was credit to Himzi. Nails the hook. Now, Arhan was 5% away from his ultimate, but they had to commit it to keep him alive right there, the nano boost. So it ends up being a slight timing error from Jaehong because his Genji wasn't ready, and now he's going to have to go in without that nano boost.
Going in now, seeing what he can get.
Sound barrier's down.
Yeah, sound barrier, though, helping Finland survive for the moment. Arhan not getting anything, but Zumba and Eska able to get a couple kills for South Korea. Arhan just forcing Himzi back for the moment as the payload pushes a little bit, but no, Mafu's sitting on the payload right now. They've got to go and clear him off. That payload has not really moved yet. Now they're finally going to get it rolling a little bit.
Yeah, they got so much time, though, Finland, by maintaining Linkser and Mafu on the payload itself. So, yes, it's creeping along as we speak. They've got a couple of ultimates, but that Blizzard, crucially, is still there for Finland. They can just drop that from above onto the cart.
They're going to need to post-haste, man, because this is getting very close. Arhan up on the bridge right now, going after Seni on that Lucio. There's a Blizzard. He gets frozen. Not a lot of other members of South Korea stuck in there. Miro jumped in. There's a Graviton Surges from both teams. And we've got two Winstons just pummeling each other here. Zunba the one getting the kills in the end. And this could be bad for Finland, as South Korea hasn't lost anybody just yet. And that payload does not have far to go. There's a nano boost on Namiro now, and Mafu the only one left. No, that's Linkser actually on that Winston for Finland. But here comes the payload, and South Korea may have it. They get it. 2-0 for South Korea here in this match. You know, we thought it'd be a little bit closer, but South Korea just looks unstoppable.
I mean, I think it was close, Noah. Yeah, we had a 1-0 match on Anubis, but it was overtime and nearly a full hold by Finland as well. And in this one, it was just a 2-1, almost running out the time bank there, and a very, very close hold. So impressive stuff.
Well, it certainly was as close as it could have been, you know, or as close as we've seen it against South Korea anyway. But it's still, it just seems like nobody's able to handle these guys. But I gotta say, Taimu, really a hero on Temple of Anubis. And yeah, so we'll have to see. Going forward, these are two teams that I could certainly see, you know, meeting again later in the tournament.
I think the thing about it, Della, is that when we talk about Overwatch, yes, it's very exciting to have things go into time bank where we can have 5-4 or 3-4 matches where they both push the payload all the way to the end. But at the same time, when you have two near full holds, or a full hold and a near full hold like we had on Temple of Anubis, it's a shorter series, but it's still ultra competitive, right? Short and sweet, with both teams doing a great job on the defense. So it's just a different way to look at it. Yeah, it was 1-0, but I don't know how more close Anubis could have been under those circumstances.
Yeah, very true. Going into this one, I was kind of thinking we'd end up on Lijiang Tower. I thought we'd actually make it to that third map. I was hoping that too, because those were really good games, man. I mean, both teams playing really, really well. Obviously, you know, no matter who they end up against later in the tournament, it's going to be a pretty scary prospect.
Yeah, well, it was thrilling. It was short. I hope we see it again. We've talked about this before, but as these teams go into the quarterfinals, there is a possibility, because they can't face each other in the quarterfinals. If they end up on opposite sides of the bracket, this could be actually a preview of the grand final of the Overwatch World Cup. So definitely a possibility, considering how strong both of these teams have been. And if we go into a best of 5 or a best of 7 with these guys, I would be super excited to watch it.
Oh. Both of these teams, too, have such big advantages in the individual skill that each team has. But I'm hearing now that we've got Jason standing by with Tyrong, so let's see what he has to say after South Korea's win over Finland.
Thank you, guys. I'm joined here with Tyrong and Steve to help me translate this. Let's start off just with a bang. How does it feel to come out first place in your group?
일단 조 1위를 한 걸 축하드리고 조 1위가 된 소감을 간단히 말씀해 주십시오.
참말로 기쁩니다.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited, and there's nothing I can say more than I'm so happy.
That's good to hear. And we also talked to you guys before we started the whole event, and you guys have never played until you actually came here. And the synergy, you said, was really, really good. It was really on point. Why is that?
일단 여기 월드컵에 오시기 전에 연습할 시간이 따로 없었다고 미리 얘기를 해주셨었는데, 그럼에도 불구하고 이렇게 좋은 이유가 뭔지 간단하게 말씀해 주세요.
일단 루나티카이와 아프리카 프릭스가 중국에서 서로 연습 경기를 가진 적이 있단 말이에요. 그래서 서로가 부족한 점을 되게 잘 알고 있었어요. 그게 나중에 이번에 오버워치 월드컵에 오면서 그게 보완이 되니까 시너지가 정말 막대한 것 같습니다.
I think the fact that the 3 of our team members are from Lunatic High and 2 of them are from Africa Fricks, and we actually played against each other at the Overwatch APEC Premier in China, so we know that what we are good at and what we are bad at, and I think that helped us a lot.
Okay, and since you're the captain for AF Blue and for NGA, a Chinese team, what is it that you bring to the team here?
지금 그 코치님께서는 한국 팀도 그렇지만 중국 팀도 지금 코치직을 또 겸업하고 계신데 그런 게 팀에는 어떤 도움이 된다고 생각하시나요?
그냥 대륙별로 플레이 성향이 다르니까. 서로 경험을 하면서 개인 선수들에게 가장 나은 방법을 제시할 수 있더라고요.
I think the characteristics and some specialty from the continent is a little bit different, and I learned that from that experience, so I can give my team members that advice so it can help the team.
Okay, and now coming into the quarterfinals next week, who's the team you're looking to play against the most, or maybe the least?
지금 이제 다음 주에 8강부터 다시 이제 대결을 하게 됐는데 가장 만나고 싶은 팀 또는 가장 만나기 싫은 팀이 있다면 어디가 될까요?
당연히 만나고 싶은 팀은 USA고 만나기 껄끄러운 건 역시 스웨덴이 아닐까.
왜 그런지는 설명.
스웨덴이 일단 저희 담으로 할 수 있는 가짓수가 되게 많아요. 전략 자체가. 하지만 이번에 싸웠던 핀란드도 좀 전력을 숨기는 느낌이 있어요.
I think the team we want to meet the most is the USA at the quarterfinal, and the least team we want to meet is the Sweden. And I think the Sweden has they have very many tactics and strategy they can show, and that's their really good advantage. And I think the Finland has a good skill too, but I think we got lucked out to be winning over them.
Okay, well, thank you very much, you two, and congratulations again for winning and coming through first place in your group. I'll see you next week, but for now, let's head back to the desk to break down that game.
Thank you so much, Jason. Thank you, Tyrone, for your answers. And you know what? I was wondering what I was going to get excited for after the Finland-South Korea match. Well, he gave me two great answers. He wants to play USA, and he's worried about Sweden.
Yeah, which is interesting that, I mean, we want to play USA, but then also worried about Sweden when we saw Sweden lose to Spain earlier. But I think it's just because Sweden can just be a little bit more versatile than this Finland team was.
I just think it means that the USA is the weakest team in the playoffs, and you want to face them.
Wow. And they let you in this country?
I found that a little bit disrespectful.
I'm not going to be popular in the crowd.
No.
Well, you just got to work on your USA chance to fit in. South Korea leading the group 3-0 here. Finland finally taking a loss. But I think what Monty said was right, too. I mean, Finland still played phenomenally, and it was a much closer map than I think the score indicates.
So the reason why it looked like it wasn't that close, but actually was that close, is that there's two things that really define the South Korean team. Number one is control, and number two is defense. They look much stronger on the defense, and they do that by really good usage of heroes like Winston and May. And even on Eichenwald, you take a look at how they had to play around the Bastion, where the Bastion was forcing their movements to another area. It actually makes it easier for South Korea to get good engagements.
I also think one thing that worked in South Korea's favor is that they pretty much knew Finland was going to play 3 tanks the entire time, and that they were not really going to move off of that, so the strategies were pretty easy to make.
Yes, Bastion, not really a popular pick, but it does work if there's nothing to close the distance. Right. And I mean, that's one of the faults of this Finland team, really. I mean, you look at the lineup, you have Himsi, you have Mafu, who are really good DPS and flex players, but they don't really have a deep hero pool. I mean, who's playing Genji in this team?
I was just going to ask, yeah.
And there's really no one. I mean, Taimu plays McCree, but he can't really play Genji. And that was one of the things I was really excited about this Finland team earlier in the week, when they had Sini play on the DPS role and they had Himsi on the Lucio. Because that means that they have more depth. They can switch to this Genji, and they can play a Winston Genji composition to shut down heroes like Bastion.
But then they lose Himsi's Roadhog, and he's been so good on Roadhog.
Let me just say, Taimu's Roadhog is pretty
That's true.
But I do have some replays, actually, I want to show here about Taimu. And it was something I warned about before the game, so if we show these replays, I mean, this is what Taimu offers here on the McCree, and I really just thought that this was one of the keys for Finland and how they can win this matchup versus South Korea.
Taimu as a DPS brings something that very few DPS players do, where even when the odds are against you and you should be losing a team fight, he carries such incredible power as a DPS player where he can win fights that your team probably shouldn't be able to win.
Yeah, I mean, right there on Anubis, you almost saw him just bring that back by himself, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
sure.
the Graviton Surge comes in like later in the fight. He's able to take out 2. And for a second there, I thought like we were going to have a draw on Anubis, which would have been pretty sick. But it just shows how evenly matched these two teams were.
Yep. I do want to bring highlight South Korea here, though. They were really smart on Eichenwald. They acknowledged that Taimu was the problem here. And on Eichenwald, they did switch to the Winston Genji. I mean, Arhan, fantastic Genji. We've highlighted Miro all week, really, on his Winston. So they acknowledged that Taimu was really the X-factor here for Finland, and they shut him down pretty easily.
Yeah, that communication, the ability to switch was a huge factor in, I think, Korea's success here, because Finland definitely, you know, we talked about their limited hero pool, but they still have so much creativity that they bring to a game, and South Korea was able to respond every time.
They were able to respond every time, and again, I just want to reiterate here, you take a look at South Korea, where they stop teams. It really is just this defense that is really not replicated too much on the NA and EU side of things, and I think there's a lot to be learned for how they control fights, how they put things in a fashion that they can win, and we'll see where things go moving forward into the exhibition.
Well, Jonathan, I want to get your opinion. I mean, what's the best way to just break this defense? It seems like they're like really aggressive. I feel like you just got to take the fight to them.
Well, I feel that playing a Reinhardt composition versus Mei is really suboptimal, and that's exactly what I wanted to look at the triple tank composition. You really can't do much more than walk slowly upwards, and then you have a Mei just splitting the team up, and you have to switch things up. You have to be faster. You have to go to that Winston. You have to go to the Genji, you know? You have to push forward with power, and Finland can't really do this with the Heroes pool.
It's easy for you. You have to be.
Well, this
yeah,
is
I
one
just
of
jump
those
on the
moments.
Winston, I leap away, and Genji's Twig is killing everyone.
We did see Himsy try and switch it up there and pick up Tracer for a little while. How successful do you think that was?
Well,
Go ahead.
they lost 2-0. A bit harsh, but you know, I mean, we're not we don't really talk about Himsy's pulse bombs as much as his hooks, which he did. He has great hooks this game. It's worth highlighting.
Well, they did try and follow your advice there. I mean, they did try and switch off that triple tank, and it just was not as successful as it could have been, I think.
I do feel like, though, if we do see this matchup again, I feel like you'll see the Finland team just come in with a completely different game plan, completely different hero pool. I would be shocked if, like what Jonathan said, they don't switch it up, maybe put Himsy back on that Lucio and get Cine on something like a Genji.
Well, the really good thing here for Finland, at the very least, is that they do have the experience now of going up against the South Korean defense, so they will have to go back and go, okay, we do need to have other tools to work on here, other things to break this open, and we can't just try and do what we did before.
I do want to say one important fact.
Say it, Jonathan.
In the Overwatch esports scene.
Do it up.
I'm pretty sure that in every major in Overwatch esports so far, the winning team has lost one series in the tournament. And so far, South Korea has lost no series, so they're bound to lose and not win.
Yeah, and going with just simple math, the
that's
next one will be
right?
it will be a single elimination. So if they lose, they will not be able to win, Jonathan.
That's how facts work, right?
You're brilliant.
I'm doing great. I'm so proud of myself.
I don't know what we'd do without him. Well, guys, we have a lot more Overwatch for you still coming up today. So after this commercial break, I promise we'll bring it right to you.